Okay, so this is just a follow-up to last week's video where we talked about the Schumacher Cut and what was in it. There's a couple of corrections, clarifications, omissions, stuff that I missed, stuff that I got wrong. I want to try and clear it up here now quickly. So first off, correction. I threw up this image and at the very end of the video and I said this is possibly the opera scene, and I should have done more due diligence on this. So to explain, the opera scene was a scene in an early Akiva Goldsman draft where the Two-Face and Riddler kind of hypnotise an audience at an opera, and it got cut out. It's not in the shooting script, it's not in the film schedule, it's not in the continuity list or the pickup shots, so really it's highly unlikely that it is the opera scene. I think I found out what exactly it was. My first thought was this is the Enigmatech party, this is the band, because they all wore kind of like wigs, but then I checked all the band members and none of them kind of looked like this. So then someone said it's the opera scene, and I was like, yeah, sure, that could be right, it could be the opera scene. However, at some point out on Twitter, it's actually one of the waiters at the Enigmatech party, and you can tell from the shot because you can see the staircase, banister, and also you can see the guy. He is in the background of this shot with in between Val Kilmer and Nicole Kidman, and I think he's like the doorman or a waiter. I think there's a lot of waiters kind of like mooching around at the Enigmatech party, but you never quite get a clear shot of them. You just see kind of like a hand holding a serving tray and stuff. I also think the reason Two-Face is kind of leaning closer on him is this is sort of an explanation of how it goes from Two-Face shooting off his guns like Yosemite Sam to him having two champagne flutes and drinking them. I think he got the champagne from this doorman. Okay, so that's one thing solved. So I really don't think they shot the opera scene. I think this is just a scene from the Enigmatech party. Secondly, I mentioned a scene early on where Bruce is hounded by his assistants and he's got kind of two telephones and he's confused as to who's on line 1 and line 2. He's got the Japanese Prime Minister and a supermodel. There's an image of this now that's turned up. This is a trading card from Dynamic Marketing, an Australian trading card company, and they seem to have got their hands on lots of little bits and pieces that got cut out of the film, so that's cool. Lastly, there's a couple of bits missed out on the continuity list. There's a scene involving a poor family scraping together money to afford a Enigmatech box, and there's also a scene involving Alfred buying a box from a store. No great, loss that these things were cut, but it's interesting that they probably were shot. That's about it. The other interesting thing is that I got sent a couple of screen grabs that show two versions of the work print. One is dated February 17th, one is dated March 14th, both in 1995. I'm assuming Preview Cut 1 that Akiva Goldsman is talking about is the February 17th one, but again, who knows? Akiva, if you're watching, let us know. It seems to be, based on the screen grabs, to start with Dr. Burton at Arkham finding that Two-Face has escaped. The other work print, the March one, now this was actually uploaded to YouTube. A couple of clips were uploaded to YouTube and then quickly got taken down after about a week. Unfortunately did manage to save them, but a couple of interesting tidbits. This March cut seemingly started with Dr. Burton finding that Two-Face has escaped and then went into the Batman suit up and then went into the Two-Face heist. So we can pinpoint how early they switched around the opening and pushed back that kind of Bruce meeting Edward Nygma that was originally in the script at the start of the film, further back into the film. The March cut also had a scene, this was the other clip that they uploaded, of Bruce talking to Alfred in the Batcave, and then it cuts to him arriving dressed as Batman at Chase's apartment, and the soundtrack over the top is Seal's Kiss My Rose. And this can be corroborated. Seal mentioned in an online Q&A just after Joel passed that early cuts of the movie did have the song within the film rather than over the end credits. So that's all for now. Today is June 16th. Everyone on Twitter is going to be tweeting Reese's Schumacher Cut to try and get this extended version of Batman Forever out there. So please, if you have Twitter, please hashtag that. Copy in AT&T, copy in Jason Killer if you're really interested in harassing people. Let's see if Warner Brothers can give it a bit of attention. It's really not an impossible thing to get released. A special thanks to Philip Joe Monroe who emailed me these extra bits. If you want to email me anything, please email. It's jackthursbyedit@gmail.com.